And welcome back to latest and greatest episode of the Shaving Points podcast. My name is Jayton May. You can find me on Twitter at JMay56. And I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Quentin Crisco. How we doing tonight, Quentin?
Doing okay. Rough weekend last weekend. It it hurt a little more just because the weekend before I was on fire, and on college football Saturday I was on fire, and I was like, man, I hope this carries over to Sunday. That I'll have like a full 8 days, 9 days at that point of just like hitting everything, and it just tanked on me on Sunday.
Can't last forever.
So that's why we're here. So I can make up for it, so I can make my money back from Sunday. And I still came out ahead on the weekend, but my name is Quentin Crisco. You can find me on Twitter at BuckHisStats. You can find the podcast on Twitter at shaving_points_pod. That's points as in PTS. Make sure you're going and following us on Twitter because I put out a lot of plays between now and Saturday for college and Sunday, usually Saturday morning and Sunday morning. I'll put out 2 or 3 additional plays that I feel really good about after doing some more research. So don't miss out on it. Make sure you go follow us and check out our new improved website, shaving-points.com.
Absolutely. Speaking of last week, a little underwhelming performance by myself. I went 3-3. Unfortunately for you, you went 3-5. Started out strong.
It's actually 3-6. I couldn't fit the Thursday night graphic or the Thursday night bet on there. I hated the board, and I made that very clear in last week's episode. I did not like any of the lines. So what do? I go and bet 9 different games on it because I'm so intelligent.
That's what you got to do sometimes. This is if you find yourself in a hole, you just have to dig yourself out. I actually hit my Thursday night play for the first time in a while. Good win by Arizona there. D-Hop being back, the boys are rolling. Kyler looked like Kyler again a little bit, and then losses. I mean, I had the over in Dallas, Detroit. That sucked. Detroit's offense couldn't get anything rolling against the Dallas defense. Dallas offense didn't look great. Atlanta, the Dirty Birds let us down. Joe Burrow just decided to be Joe Burrow again. Throws for 767 yards, 11 touchdowns. Jamar Chase had 1,000 yards receiving and 14 touchdowns. But it's all good. Dirty Birds will be back. Atlanta, that division's trash, so they'll have their chances to get back. Tennessee, I mean, I've been so right on Tennessee all year. I mean, they're just keeping it moving. I mean, this is the part of the season where they just get it rolling. Started out the season 0-2, don't matter. Number one in that division, Tennessee Titans rolling on. I liked Houston last week. Didn't turn out too great, +7 against them Raiders. But yeah, Raiders just finally decided to show up and play. They talk about a team that's in a hole that may or may not be able to dig themselves out of. Raiders might be in trouble. They might be good. Who knows? And then, I mean, I ended up taking Seattle money line on Sunday. I mean, they're a rocket ship to the moon right now. Number one team in the NFC West, like everybody predicted at the beginning of the season. They're looking like they're going to be a playoff team with Denver's first round pick, and Denver might be picking in the top 5. So, and that's another, we talked about it in the offseason, not knowing Geno Smith was going to play as well as he did, but talking about the Seattle roster probably being the best roster Russell Wilson would have had in his career outside of his Super Bowl runs. And Geno Smith going out there playing like a dog, playing like a guy that wants a spot back in the NFL, and they're looking like it right now. Seattle's rolling hot.
So I just before we started this, I saw a stat that compared Geno Smith's first 3 years in the NFL to Drew Brees' first 3 years in the NFL, and they're like identical. It's just hysterical that we're at that point where Geno might be Drew Brees. I hope he is, man. Geno for MVP, man. I'm loving it. Running through my bets real quick here. Indy +3. I was a fool. Took Indy. Bad decision. Baltimore -3.5 first half. Baltimore was up by 3 at half. They let up an early touchdown, and then this bet was dead at that point because that early touchdown was too much for them to overcome. At least for the cover. Seattle +7. That one was money. Miami -7. This one really really grinds my gears because Miami was in easy field goal range and decided to go for it up 6 with like 3 minutes left, which makes no sense to not
Almost
make
lost
it a
on the game.
2-score game. And they won by 6. Should have been by 9. I think Mike McDaniels might be betting against his own team. We'll find out. The Shaving Points podcast is going to dig deep for you on that and get an answer.
Do some investigative research on that.
Atlanta money line. This one was you throw some money line shots out there sometimes, like plus 300 or something. You got to try them here and there. So that one didn't hit. And then, but the over. The reason I was willing to do Atlanta money line was because I was very confident in the over at 47.5. So it was like looking at the single game aspect, you're breaking even almost. If they don't hit the money line, if they do, you're really in the green. Houston plus 7.5. Jay already talked about a little. Houston kept that game close through like the mid-third quarter, and then the Raiders just pulled away on them. But they looked like they were going to cover for a while. And then I put out on Twitter, one of the reasons you got to go follow on Twitter, I put out live as soon as KC went down 10 points, hit that KC spread. I hit the money line as well. I'm not including it in this. It was like plus 250. But Pat Mahomes down 10 in the first quarter, always hit it. Always hit that bet.
Pat Mahomes has the fourth best winning percentage in NFL history when you only look at the games where he was down double digits.
Yeah, it's insane. He wins more often than he loses when he's down double digits. It's utterly insane.
Since he's entered the league, he has the highest winning percentage, followed by Aaron Rodgers, then Tom Brady. Then in fourth place is Patrick Mahomes, down by double digits.
It's incredible. All right, you want to jump into next week?
Absolutely. Talk about loving the board. This board right here. This board. I don't even think all my bets are on that board. This board is the board of all boards. This is the week we're going to go undefeated. I have no doubt in my mind we're going to go undefeated this week. So easy. Seeing the board so clearly. We know who these teams are. We know the frauds. We know the contenders. We know the pretenders. We know all of it. Getting us started out for Thursday Night Football, we have maybe the fraudulent Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus a Baltimore Ravens team who is absolutely abysmal in the fourth quarter. And you know who's not bad in the fourth quarter? Tom Brady. But who might be bad is Tom Brady, so we don't know. But give me Tom Brady. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right here. Give me them plus 1.5. Kind of like the money line, too. I'll probably end up just taking the money line with you at 105. But we're both on the same side here. So let me get your read on it.
Yeah, so I bet plus 1.5 first, and I was like, why the hell am I doing that? I'm just going to do money line. So I changed my bet on here to money line. I mean, what we know about Thursday Night Football, home team wins 60% of the time. You add in Tom Brady on that, and Baltimore having to travel down to Florida for it. I think Tampa at home's an easy play here.
Absolutely. And then let's do New England versus the New York Football Jets next. New York Football Jets, who we've said on this podcast, can be frisky. Breece Hall looking like a top 5 running back in the league, tears his ACL out for the season. Now they go out and trade for James Robinson, but they do have Michael Carter in that backfield who looked phenomenal for him last year, which is why I was kind of shocked they got Breece Hall when they did. And I was thinking, like, before the draft, I loved Breece Hall. And then he went to New York, and I was like, well, splitting time with Michael Carter. Don't love him as much in that backfield. And he was just absolutely dominating. But Michael Carter's still a very, very good running back for him. So they might still be frisky, but they did just lose Elijah Vera Tucker, who was playing very, very good for him at that guard spot, out for the season, I believe. So big, big blow for New York, losing those two guys. New England coming off an absolutely embarrassing performance, got absolutely shit pumped by the Chicago Bears, one of the best teams in football. But I,
Hey,
li-
we're in the hunt, man.
I like New England to come back big here. I like Bill Belichick to come back with a vengeance, playing against a franchise that he's owned throughout his entire career. I like Mac Jones in this game to come back and put up a competent performance and get that New England fan base back on his side a little bit. So yeah, New England going on the road to New York here. This is another one. I'm -1.5. Take the money line either way. It'll probably be -115, -120. If you're scared about the Jets somehow keeping this close. But no Brees Hall, no Latchaver Tucker with the way Zach Wilson's been playing football. I don't see how New England doesn't cover 1.5 here. So I love New England -1.5. What you got?
Scared of the Jets taking flight? Is that what you're scared of with the Jets?
Yeah.
I got New England -1. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I am very confident that Bill Belichick's teams have historically bounced back from embarrassing losses very, very strongly. Well-coached team. They're always well-disciplined. I think they really overlooked the Bears. It didn't seem like their scheme was as top-notch
But did you hear what
as
Belichick said
they
about
typically are. Before or after the game?
before the game?
Oh yeah, he said the nicest things about every single player. On
He said he's
roster.
so they didn't underestimate him.
They underestimated, like, their scheme was a lot. It seemed a lot more vanilla than it usually is. I think that they kind of took it as an off week, and they will not make that same mistake 2 weeks in a row.
No, they will not. Yeah, I love New England in this spot. I don't like the New England offense, but Jets defense is pretty nasty. But I think they get that running game back on track, and I think
And I just don't trust that. I think Bill Belichick's going to get Zach Wilson to make some killer mistakes.
I agree.
That's really where I think this game heads.
I agree 100%. All right, moving on. We'll do Tennessee versus Houston. Tennessee is starting to put a stranglehold on this division. I think it continues this week. I love Tennessee -2.5 here. Going to the Houston Texans. Houston, I mean, they don't look bad, but they don't win games. So I think they're a team on the cusp. I mean, they have a lot of draft picks coming up. I think they draft well. They can be right on track here the next couple of years. I liked them in the offseason. I thought they could be a frisky team, maybe even compete this year. Looks like I was probably about a year early on that take because they're a couple pieces away and a decent quarterback away from being a strong competitor in that division. But Tennessee, King Henry's rolling. Ryan Tannehill doesn't look great. Don't matter. Once Derrick Henry gets rolling downhill, tractor Cito season, baby. Tennessee's a hard team to beat. And then we saw a little bit of Malik Willis last week. I actually didn't see any of the plays that he ran. I just saw that he was in the game. And then by the time I put the game on, it was already Tannehill back. So I don't know how many snaps he took or what he did. Don't matter. Still love Tennessee here. -2.5. Also taking the over in this spot. I think Tennessee's defense can give a little bit up to Dameon Pierce and that Texans offense. I think Texans can score 14-17, and I think Tennessee can get well over 20. So give me over 40.5 in this game. What are your thoughts?
So I bet this initially and had it on my board, and then I saw something that made me think that there was quarterback questions up in the air, like Tannehill might be hurt or something, and I wiped it off. I'd already placed the bet, but I wiped it off my board just because I want some more certainty around knowing who's going to play quarterback before I put it out there.
Yeah.
I might put it back on come Sunday. I've already got the ticket at 2.5, so we'll see. But my initial thoughts were Tannehill starting. This seems like a good bet to me. The only reason I took it off is because I think that Houston secondary has actually been pretty good this year, and I think they toy some with Malik Willis.
Yeah. Derek Stingley looks all right. He doesn't look damn near as close as good as to Sauce Gardner, which still pisses me off because I had Sauce Gardner as the first corner off the board at like -105 in the draft, and Derek Stingley went ahead of him. Still makes me upset. I think Sauce Gardner's upset.
I had that same bet too.
He has been on a tear, and Derek Stingley is not bad. Don't get me wrong, but he's not Sauce Gardner, and he will never be Sauce Gardner. and that sucks for him because no matter how good he is, if anytime he gives up a play in the same week that Sauce is going off, that's all you're going to think about as a Texans fan.
Yeah, I'm still shocked that they took Stingley over Sauce.
He's been good. I mean, but yeah. Sauce already looks like a top 5 quarter in the league.
He's A1, baby.
A1, baby. But yeah, love Tennessee in the spot here. Tractor Cito season. Don't care who's playing quarterback. Give me Tennessee. What do you want next?
Let's talk San Fran.
Let's talk San Fran. Okay. So this is a system play for me. And by system, I mean the system of Kyle Shanahan owning Sean McVay. And that's about all I have to say about this game. I mean, Christian McCaffrey's there, Deebo Samuel's there, Brandon Ayuk's there. They got all the dudes. Jimmy G's there. Kittle seems like he's finally getting it rolling. I mean, weapons all over the place. I think Trent Williams came back last week after missing a couple games. One of the best tackles in the league. Jeff Wilson is technically still there. They're getting Elijah Mitchell back here pretty soon. Don't even know where he's going to be. Just team loaded with talent against a bad Rams team and a Rams team that Kyle Shanahan absolutely owns. So, yeah, give me the 49ers here minus 1.5. I don't know why this line is 1.5. I mean, I might be missing something. Maybe they're just assuming somehow the Rams are going to go trade for 3 more top guys somehow and pay them all a lot of money. But I don't know who the Rams could go get that would. I mean, I don't get it. I feel like the 49ers should be a 3-point favorite in this game easily. So maybe it's a little ratty. I don't know, but it's Kyle Shanahan against the Rams. Give me Kyle Shanahan.
My instinct was the same as yours here. I thought about taking this one, but I want to see their injury. I want to see San Francisco's injury report before I bet it, and I want to see the Rams injury report coming off the bye before I bet it because maybe the Rams are getting someone back. Maybe San Fran has someone.
Who did the Rams lose? I mean, they don't have an offensive line, but
yeah, their entire offensive line went down.
But I mean, I still feel like whether they're still on their third string offensive line or all of their day one starters are back. I mean, I don't feel like that makes a difference really. And I know Bosa's healthy. I know Warner's healthy.
So Bosa was banged up. I think he was questionable last week. So I want to see how these guys are if they're limited participants, full participants, not participating. You know, if their D line is healthy, I like the Rams or the 49ers.
Yeah.
If their D line is healthy, I like the 49ers here, but I want to see that injury report first.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I mean, I mean, it's Kyle Shanahan versus Sean McVay, and I don't really care about the rosters too much. 49ers they got dudes everywhere, so
the other factor that might even outweigh it all for me is that this is going to be the first game where they have a full week of game planning for McCaffrey.
I don't think that really matters.
I think it does. He only ran the ball 8 times last week.
Are you talking about the 49ers?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the Rams having a full week.
No, I mean Shanahan having a full week of install with Christian McCaffrey.
Absolutely. Yeah, that definitely changes things. I mean, so we didn't even get to talk about that trade last week. So on paper, I mean, it's fantastic. What they gave up for him is kind of ridiculous considering you look at that team, you look at the roster composition, it's like, yeah, I mean, he's good. He is Christian McCaffrey, but it's almost like, where does he fit? He's a faster, shiftier version of Deebo Samuel. So Deebo can line up in the backfield and he can play the slot just as good as Deebo lining up in the slot and him in the backfield. I mean, they can do things like that, but it's a lot of gimmicky stuff I feel like they can do when I don't feel like they need to do that kind of stuff with the talent they already have, and they go and just give up the entire future. I think this is a win now move. I don't think that Shanahan believes that they can get it done with Trey Lance. He wants to get it done with Jimmy G. He wants to prove that he can get it done with Jimmy G. And I think this move reflects that because, yeah, you look at what the 49ers can do with running backs, and you're like, oh, yeah, Christian McCaffrey definitely makes sense. But then you look at their history of success at running back, and it's a plug-and-play, guys off the street type, and they don't really have that much success with going out and Shanahan like getting his guy. Like all the best guys in the Shanahan run game for San Fran have been second or third tier players, or what should have been second and third tier players that stepped up to that stepped up to the plate and made a difference. And then every guy that Shanahan has gone out of his way to make sure was on the team hasn't worked out in one way or the other. And yeah, so it's one of those things where it's a little like, as soon as you hear about it, you're like, oh yeah, McCaffrey could have an MVP type second half of the season, but at the same time, it's like, well, Deebo still got to get the ball. Ayuk still got to get the ball. Still have Kittle. Elijah Mitchell's coming back eventually. Jeff Wilson was playing very, very good for him. So it's like, where McCaffrey definitely fits, but it's like, for what you gave up for him, was it worth it? You could you have gone out and got another defensive player, or maybe
the second I saw this trade, I was like, the gears just started turning in my head. Like, is Shannon gonna be there next year? Is like he's given up a lot for this year to buy into his backup quarterback. Doesn't really give a whole lot of confidence to what they believe about Trey Lance. And the other thing the only other thing that really made sense to me is like, are they going to get another veteran quarterback who they really trust then? Or like, is Tom Brady going there?
Yeah, Tom Brady is that's what we talked about too. Tom Brady makes the most sense. He'll be a free agent at the end of the season. Hometown team. If Tom Brady goes to that team, he fits in. There's not a team in the NFL with a better roster makeup right now as it stands than Tom Brady. A team that can run the ball well, a team that has a good tight end that can help in the run game, but can also be a reliable safety net. You have a go up and get it type guy like Brandon Ayuk that can catch anything. You have a Deebo Samuel guy who can do anything you want on top of Christian McCaffrey, on top of a good offensive line, and on top of all of that as a team that can play good defense. It's the perfect Cinderella glass slipper fit for Tom Brady. A single guy who's going through a divorce, moving out to California, probably buy a surfboard. I don't know what he'll do as a single guy, but yeah, it's the perfect fit for Tom Brady. So it's either Shanahan's gone or they're getting Brady, and those are the only two things that make sense to me.
Yeah, we're on the same page. It was just the gears started turning in my head the second I saw this. Like, why would they give up that much for this?
We talked about it last week, and we were discussing if somebody would give up a first-round pick. Like, they gave up the equivalent of like a first and a fourth.
Yeah, I think the equivalent by the Fitzgerald Spielberger draft chart was like the number 5 overall pick for all those picks. Which isn't exactly
I saw was essentially they're projected around the 25 to 28 range, but they don't have their first round pick. So it'd have been the equivalent of them giving up their first round pick, picking in the mid to late 20s with a fourth round pick. This is what I saw. I think that was on the Jimmy Johnson points chart or whatever.
Yeah, and the Jimmy Johnson one is very different than the other one I referenced. But
they don't have their first round pick. But yeah, they gave up more than what
they only have 4 draft picks left for next year.
The Rams
rounds a 6th and a 7th or something like that.
The Rams did it, but they didn't do it with Jimmy G.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. It's interesting. Do you think they could create such a diverse run offense with Trey Lance and McCaffrey and Deebo that they feel confident in?
With how bad Trey Lance was looking before he got hurt, I wouldn't be confident in even putting him out the field.
Yeah.
They could probably be better off just there's gonna be like 11 quarterbacks in this draft that have the talent to start in an NFL scheme and the right system, probably up until the 4th or 5th round. I mean, the draft is so deep. I wouldn't be surprised if they go get a guy in the 3rd round that beats out Lance, 3rd or 4th, whenever they pick.
Another CJ Beathard.
Yeah, but I mean, you look across the landscape of the cut. Like, there's 13 quarterbacks probably coming in that are probably, like, out of those 13, I would say 11 of them are just as good or better than any quarterback that was in the draft this past year.
Yeah, this past year was pretty rough.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're talking about, like, what is that deep? It's like, you look across the NFL, and I mean, there's going to be guys that would have been probably in that Malik Willis range where, yeah, he went in the 3rd round, but it's like Kenny Pickett went in the 1st, and you're going to have guys on the same level as Kenny Pickett going in the 4th and 5th next year, in my opinion. So, I think they could find somebody if they want.
Yeah, maybe.
But, yeah, I have no idea what they're doing, but Shanahan, as much of a genius as he gets credit for, like, he really hasn't been able to put it all together. He's a great coach. He's one of those guys where if you're a team like the Bears or the Lions or the Jaguars or the Texans, you're like, this guy's really good. He makes NFC, I mean, even the Cowboys, like, he makes NFC championships. He makes Super Bowls. Like, he gets there, but it's like he just has like a mental block. Like, he just
can't
seal the deal
constantly.
He's like your drunk friend who's like super smooth at the bar who can go up and talk to anybody, and everybody's like, oh, dude, this guy's like the coolest dude ever. And then, like, he gets you into all the parties and everything, or talks to all the girls and everything, and then you're around him for like half the night, 3/4 of the night, and then by the end of the night, like, he's fighting the owner of the house or wherever you're at, or like getting in a fight with a bartender or spilling a drink on like a group of girls, just like that guy.
It was great until it wasn't.
Yeah. It's like it's all there for him until it comes time to like go home, and then it just all falls
crashes
apart.
down. It never ends well.
All crashes in his face, exactly. But we went off on a tangent there. But he does own Sean McVay. 49ers -1.5. Christian McCaffrey. Maybe good. Maybe good. I don't know. We don't even know if Christian McCaffrey's good anymore. We didn't even talk about that.
He looked
We assume that he's good.
Carolina still this year.
Yeah, I mean, but so did Chuba Hubbard and Dante Foreman this past week.
Yeah, they did. I don't think that's going to keep going, though.
I mean, maybe not, but I mean, we haven't seen anything from Christian McCaffrey basically since 2019. So, and he's a aging veteran running back who, historically speaking, outside of Adrian Peterson in the last 20 years, doesn't age well.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. I mean, he's looked good so far this year, but it's still a big question mark.
Not even halfway through the season.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. What game you want to hit next? Cincinnati, Cleveland?
Let's do that last because it's Monday.
Okay. What do you want? Carolina, Atlanta?
Let's do it.
Carolina, Atlanta. All right, boys. Dead Cat Bounce versus the Dirty Birds. I was on the Dirty Birds, then I wasn't. Then I was back on my bullshit. Then I was off the bullshit. And then I said Carolina wasn't good. Their coach wasn't good. And then bet against them. And then they beat me. And then last week bet against them. And then they beat me. And then I don't bet on Atlanta when they cover. Then I bet on Atlanta and they do cover. So this week, I'm crisscross applesaucing myself. And I'm taking Carolina money line because I wanted to take Atlanta, but then I was like, if I take Atlanta, it's always the opposite of what I think is going to happen. So I big brained myself, Fade myself here, taking the Carolina Panthers money line plus 175. Donta Foreman, PJ Walker, DJ Moore, all the dudes. They got dudes on their team. Chuba Hubbard. They got dudes everywhere. They have a good offensive line. They have a good defensive line. JC Horn looks good. They're all good. Carolina money line, boy. Plus 175. Dirty Birds can't get it done. Dirty Birds look like they're going to be able to get it done. Marcus Mariota is terrible. Tyler Algier looks pretty good. I'll give him that. But Drake London has been not good here lately. They have what people assume to be a really good tight end that doesn't get any targets. Like, their defense hasn't looked all that great. So, yeah, give me Carolina money line here. Lock it in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Atlanta minus 4.5. I think Carolina had a nice bounce last week, a very surprising game where your best player just got traded, your head coach just got fired the week before, and everyone realizes, oh shit, my job's on the line right now. I don't
Either
think
that
it's
or they're
something
like,
that
oh,
lasts
shit,
much more than
it's
a
my-
week or two.
It's my time to step up.
Yeah, or it's my opportunity to shine. Like, my job's on the line, or it's my opportunity to earn a spot in this league. I think that only lasts for so long. It's usually only a week or two.
DJ
And
Moore
I
looked
still
good
think
last
this is
week.
a bad team. That's DJ Moore. Yeah, he did look good. He's trying to get out of there.
I don't think so. I think he's there for the long haul. If this team goes out there, this team's gonna win their way out of the CJ Stroud Bryce Young debate, though. That's gonna suck for them, but
You might be right. That would be that'd just be very fitting for this team to do.
they could. I guess they could go get Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? I mean, Carolina and Hookers, nothing goes better together. I always say.
But generally speaking, I mean, and maybe this has changed with Steve Wilkes as head coach now, because I do respect him. But Carolina has just seemed like a soft team for me. He's just a good defensive coordinator.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
So he comes from the Ron Rivera tree, and I think he brings some traits from that are pretty solid as far as holding guys accountable and just general team toughness. Because where I was going with that was under Matt Rule, Panthers have just seemed like a soft team to me. And Arthur Smith has turned this Atlanta team into anything but that. They're going to get as physical with you as any team in the NFL, and that's something that I like to bet on. I'll take the more physical team in a battle of two bad teams.
So I think this is the battle for Hooker, because I think both of these teams are going to win their way out of the Stroud Young competition. So this is the battle for a Hooker.
Wait, for Hooker or for a hooker?
Both. Hendon Hooker is a hooker.
That's true. Is he related to Malik?
Just like his daddy before him and his daddy before him, they were all hookers.
That's a very astute observation.
So, battle for the hooker. We're putting our stamp of hookers on this game. This is the first time the state of North Carolina, or is it South Carolina? North Carolina?
North.
The state of North Carolina goes against the state of Georgia for a hooker.
From Tennessee.
A hooker from Tennessee for the first time ever. Put it on the banner. Sell the t-shirts. But, yeah, like Carolina, you're on Atlanta. Dirty Birds versus the Dirty Cats. Love to see it. Moving on to our next one here. We have Miami versus Detroit. We have just a lot of dudes in this game. A lot of dudes on offense. You got Tua Tagovailoa, who doesn't know how to slide, who just tries to run over guys like Devin Bush, running 150 miles an hour. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who, under the new concussion rules, got pulled last week past concussion protocol and just didn't get to play the rest of the game. DeAndre Swift may be back. We don't know. Raheem Mostert looks phenomenal in that backfield for Miami, and then they just stopped giving him the ball halfway through the game against the Steelers, which made no
Gotta
sense.
keep him fresh.
Like he was destroying the Steelers, and they're like, well, let's just give the ball to Chase Edmonds and just completely ruin the flow of their offense. Jalen Waddle looks incredible. Tyreek Hill looks incredible. I mean, I don't know. I just see points in this game. I see this game and I just see points. I don't know why it's a 3-point line. Maybe I don't know if it's the bookmakers respecting Detroit more than we think they do, or disrespecting Miami is. But I don't know which one it is. But either way, I'm taking
lines.
Either way, I'm taking the over 51.5 here. Yeah, I thought this was going to be closer to a 5-point line. So 3.5 shocked me. But yeah, I'm taking over 51.5. I think both these teams can score. I think the Lions, after going basically back-to-back weeks, essentially getting shut out, they're going to figure something out. I think that offensive line is going to get nasty with it. I think they're going to run the ball well. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown will come back in a big way this week. Look for him to get about 8 or 9 catches for 126 yards and 2 touchdowns. TJ Hawkinson might get going too for him. Josh Reynolds, who didn't have I think he had 1 catch last week. I think he can get going. Jamal Williams has fumbles in back-to-back games when he didn't. I don't think he had a single or 1 fumble in his entire career leading up to this year. I like Jamal Williams to have a big game. If DeAndre Swift comes back, we know that boy can run the ball. So yeah, give me over 51.5 here.
I think that's a solid bet. I mean, I considered that one, but I just don't trust Detroit's offense right now. I need to see a little more from them before I'm willing to bet an over like that again. And maybe that's my flaw on it, because that, you have a lot of bets with that type of mentality. But I just their offense has been abysmal the last 2 weeks, and I need to dig into their injury reports. Yeah. I need to dig into their injury reports more before of what the past few weeks have been for me personally before I would take it.
Fair. But yeah, I just see, I mean, whenever you look at two rosters together and you're like, okay, so both quarterbacks have the potential to throw a pick six, and there's 6 guys in this game that could take it to the house at any given time. Like, yeah, give me the over.
Yeah, I mean, I like the logic. I'm right there with you. I'm thinking that that's a solid way to think about it. But I just need to see what Detroit has been missing the last 2 games more before I'm buying it completely.
Understandable. All right, going to the last game on my card. We have the Dallas Cowboys with just an absolutely ferocious defense going against the best offense in football right now, the hottest team in football, the best second-year quarterback in the NFL right now, Justin Fields, and the Chicago Bears lining up for an all-time classic. I have Dallas -9 in this game, and let me tell you why. Bears offensive line is absolutely trash. Cowboys go out today and sign Jonathan Hankins, sure up an already amazing defensive line. Sam Williams, 2 sacks, 9 pressures, 4 tackles for a loss this year. Looking like he could be defensive rookie of the year right now. Him and Sauce Gardner looking absolutely incredible off that edge. Not to mention DeMarcus Lawrence, one of the best run stuffing defensive ends in the entire league, playing very, very well right now. Also rushing the passer very well. Not even including Micah Parsons, who's an absolute stud. Probably defensive player of the year right now. I don't even think it's that close. Then line that up with the Cowboys secondary, who's just playing at a phenomenal level right now. Trevon Diggs playing absolutely out of his mind. Allowed 1 catch for 2 yards last week, had an interception. Has 17 interceptions in 35 games throughout his career. Absolute stud, absolute animal of a corner. Opposite of Anthony Brown, who's been playing out of his mind. 2 safeties that come up in the box, play the run, play the pass. This Cowboys defense is stupid good. They get after you. Justin Fields takes way too many sacks as it is. This Dallas defense might sack him 17 times. Cowboys -9. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of faith in their offense. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys defense could score 14 points by themselves in this game, not to mention their special teams on top of that, which is very, very dangerous as well. So with all that said, I don't think the Bears score more than 10. So I'm assuming the Cowboys get to 20 in some form or another. So give me the Cowboys -9.
I'm on the other side of this. I will say if the line was 9 when I took it, I wouldn't have bet it, but it was 10. Bears +10. I think after the offense got some momentum going last night, and this defense, they're going to limit you. They're not great, but they're not going to give you many big plays. So you're going to have to dink and dunk the whole game, and actually going to keep the score low. I think that is enough to get the Bears to cover 10. That alone right there. I mean, I don't think the Bears are going to score a whole lot in this game. I'm actually very concerned for Justin Fields' health on Sunday, but
who's your backup?
Oh, what's his name? Trevor Siemian. Oh, that would be ugly. That would be ugly.
Just start Trevor Siemian. Save the kid.
Fields is fast behind this O-line.
Save the kid.
Ultimately, the Bears might have the best rushing offense in the NFL right now, and they're using it yesterday. They used it very, very intelligently. And if they can keep evolving that,
the Cowboys struggled very, very much against the Philadelphia Eagles in the second half against the read option, and Justin Fields can run the read option fairly well. So I think
the Bears had to use. Sorry,
that might be the only thing that could keep the defense on the field without forcing turnovers or anything. I don't even know if the Bears run a read option, but Justin Fields is a quarterback that can run it. He did it in college for 2 years.
So they barely ran it at all until last night. They stole a bunch of stuff from the Ravens playbook last night for read option.
Yeah.
And they used it very, very effectively. If they didn't do that last night, I wouldn't be on the Bears on this bet. Like, them adding the read option as a key element to their offense is a big, big element of my bet here, because it changes everything for their offense. Not that they're going to go make the playoffs now. Not they're going to win this game. But I think
they're going to win their division. They're going to win their division. They're going to probably go 10-7, make the playoffs pretty easily. But yeah, I mean, I don't really care who the Cowboys play right now. They're a much better team with Dak at the helm than they were with Cooper Rush. They were in it all the way up until the end with Philadelphia Eagles, who are the best team in the NFC right now. I don't even think it's questionable. They took them to the wire with a really, really bad quarterback in Cooper Rush. I'm not saying Dak is great. I'm not saying the offense is all of a sudden going to get humming. But until somebody can figure out this defense, I mean, we've only allowed more than one touchdown in a game all year, and that was the Philly game, where 2 of their touchdowns, they got the ball on their side of the field. And outside of that, they only scored 1 touchdown going the distance of the field. Other than that, they're the only team so far this year that has scored more than 1 touchdown against this defense. So,
yeah, the Bears might not score in the red zone once in this game. I mean, I really have very little faith in the Bears offense in this game in the red zone, just because that defense backed up in tight area, I don't think is going to be good. But
say something nice about Sam Williams.
I think Sam Williams is looking good, man. Yes, he's looking very good. I caught a few glimpses of him on Red Zone this past week, and it was like
incredible.
Okay,
he's incredible.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, Trayvon Diggs has a tendency to give up big plays and make big plays.
Not this year.
Bears are probably going to hit a deep ball in this game somewhere.
He hasn't given up a big play once this year.
Well, put it on the board this week.
As long as it's Mooney, I don't care.
Justin Fields might die on the play, but he's nearly died a bunch this year making big throws. So
what's going to happen is that Mooney's going to run a stop and go. Diggs is going to go to cut it. Mooney's going to be running wide ass open, 30 yards down the field. and Justin Fields is going to throw it into the stands.
Okay, if you say so.
Did you see the throw last night on the 30 down the right
wet
sideline?
Football, man. It's a wet football.
It'll be wet in
Completely
Dallas
changes
too.
in a dome. Completely changes in a dome.
It'll be wet in Dallas too.
Oh yeah, you guys are just gonna be soaking the balls overnight.
No, it's just gonna be for all the fans, just so moist in the stadium watching that defense get sweaty.
Okay, if that's the case, then maybe he'll miss it. Like it's actually, I was talking to someone earlier today, and it's pretty clearly an issue. Justin Fields with a wet football is a pretty clear issue right now. Like
Which
his
is
accuracy
shocking.
just falls off the tip, like it just drops way down.
Which is shocking growing up in Georgia and playing in the Big Ten. Like
Yeah.
it rains in Georgia a lot, and then the Big Ten has some of the most shit weather in college football.
But the Bears are building a dome, so who cares?
If Justin Fields is still there by then, he'll probably.
Oh, you kidding me?
He'll be winning.
Bears ownership had just hung a bunch of posters on their wall of him because he kept Bill Belichick from breaking Hallis's record yesterday.
And that same Bill Belichick will be winning Super Bowls with Justin Fields in 3 years. That's how much faith
maybe.
That's how much you think they're going to get that stadium built in 3 years?
Wait, what does that have to do with Justin Fields being a Bear? I said 3 years, maybe. I was talking like 1 to 2 years. He just bought himself by winning last night. But
I mean, I think he could be winning Super Bowls in New England 2 years from now.
Yeah, I think he's going to play out his rookie contract with the Bears.
I wouldn't put that much faith into the Bears, but
especially with how he looked last night.
He's fun. I like Justin Fields.
Best game I've ever seen a quarterback play for my team.
Cuddy had some games.
He had some games, but not against those type of defenses.
Are the Patriots defense good?
Top 5. Pretty much every stat category.
Who have they played?
I don't remember, but they played the Ravens. They gave up a lot to the Ravens, though. They played Miami. They played... I don't remember.
They played Miami with Tua?
Yeah, week 1. Held them to 17 points. That defense is nasty, man. I spent days last week watching film on them. They are nasty.
I'm not buying it. Frauds. I'm putting the fraud label on the Packers and the Patriots.
I'm all for that.
Packers are bad.
Fun fact, last night the Bears retook the all-time NFL win stat from the Packers.
Yeah, after they were tied for 4 weeks.
Yep.
Because the Packers haven't won in 4 weeks.
I know. It's beautiful.
And they've lost to the Giants, the Jets, and who did they just lose to?
Washington.
Giants, Jets, what a murderer's row of teams. The Washington football team Commanders, the New York Jets, and New York Giants. I know.
So that actually reminds me of something though. Like,
oh man,
none
of those teams are good. Like the Giants have a good record, but they're not good. Jets have a good record, and they're not good. And Washington doesn't have a good record, and they're not good. Taylor Heineke's playing quarterback for him again. This is the 3rd time Taylor Heineke's been the starting quarterback for the Washington Football Redskin Commanders, and he can't keep the job. And he still goes out there and beats Aaron Rodgers. Also, Aaron Rodgers is like 0-5 in his lifetime against Washington and Washington, which is crazy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That is wild. So I heard a theory today about how much defensives have kind of evolved into so much man match zone coverage like the Vic Fangio type schemes. It's all based around the man match concepts, which is essentially a man zone. Like, there's drop spot zones
Yeah.
where it's like you're dropping to a spot and that's your zone. And there's man match zones where you have man responsibilities within your zone. And with how much that has come into play, it's made wide receiver play that much more important because your wide receiver needs to be able to beat man coverage on every snap on some level. And receivers have just become more important as that's become more prevalent because of that.
Also,
not every receiver is that good against man coverage.
Also, easiest position to find in the NFL right now is a receiver, which the Packers just somehow can't do.
I like Romeo Doubs.
I like Christian Watson.
I'm not sure I like Christian Watson anymore. I think I was wrong about him.
I like Lazard.
Lazard's fine. Lazard's been good enough for them.
But
he's an average receiver. He's good enough. But you need you need game changing guys at the receiver position now.
Like Aaron Jones.
That much man match. The running back.
Yeah, I don't understand why they don't run the ball.
Yeah, I mean that.
You have AJ Dillon. You have Aaron Jones. No receivers, and you don't run the ball.
I mean, I don't know how their run blocking is right now.
Doesn't matter.
Line's kind of a mess.
Doesn't matter. Got to try.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about a bad O-line who's running the ball well. Look at the Bears.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. I don't know how they're run blocking it. Maybe they're better. They're more pass blocking guys who are more geared towards finesse pass blocking than power run blocking.
They only ran the ball 12 times last game.
Oh, God, I didn't know that. Okay, you're right. 12 is not enough.
Yeah.
It was a close game. No.
AJ Dillon, with no offensive line in front of him, could probably average 2 yards a carry.
Yeah, you're right. Aaron Jones is averaging 5.5 yards a carry this year.
Yeah, not getting the ball, but neither is AJ Dillon.
Okay,
I had Aaron Jones as my top-rated running back in fantasy coming into the year because I was like, they don't have receivers. Somebody's got to get the ball on an Aaron Rodgers offense. And last week, what happened last week? What Aaron Jones did last week, catching the ball, I thought was going to be all season on top of about 70 rushing yards a game, and it just hasn't been. He had 8 catches for 87 yards and a touchdown last week. Put up wide receiver numbers with 5 carries for 28 yards. Stupid.
Yeah, that is. Fire Matt LaFleur.
Okay. Neither one of us have this game. What do you have in that game? Bills minus 11. Bills Packers.
I had a hard time passing on that game on the Packers, and I did because I think the Bills are going to win by 3 scores. But it's hard to believe that Aaron Rodgers is going to lose by 3 scores.
It's hard to believe Aaron Rodgers is going to lose 5 or 4 straight.
Yeah.
But, I mean, how many games does Aaron Rodgers have to lose before you as a Bears fan can actually be like, because I remember, what was it, 2016? The relax year.
Run the table.
How many do they have to lose before we can bury them? Because that was the same year that the Cowboys with Dak Prescott started out 9-0, 10-0, whatever the fuck it was. And then we lose the 1 seed at the end of the year. No, or we get the 1 seed, whatever it was. Then Aaron Rodgers and Mason Crossbar, who's the worst kicker in the league, except when he plays Dallas, just hits every 60-yard field goal known to man. Aaron Rodgers can hit a guy running the opposite direction of him on the sideline on a dime for 47 yards to set up a game-winning field goal. Whatever it is, I hated that year. I thought the Packers were done, and then they could just go out there and ball out. This isn't that team. But when can we bury the Packers? How many more losses till we can bury the Packers? Because I'm so ready to bury the Packers.
Just to be clear,
I'm just holding a shovel full of dirt right now, ready to bury motherfucking Aaron Rodgers.
Just to be clear, you're talking about the year where the Bears played the Packers in Week 17 for the division title, and the Bears lost on a Hail Mary and the Packers went to the playoffs and the Bears didn't, right?
I thought that was the year they lost. They
This
beat
is the
the
year where
Lions.
Rodgers ran the table.
I thought that was the year they beat the Lions in the first round of the playoffs.
Probably. That was probably the same year. NFC North had 3 teams, I think.
Oh, I didn't know the NFC North had 3 teams. I just remember the
Yeah.
first round because I think we were going to play the winner of Lions Bears no matter what, or maybe we were going to play it. It was either that or we were going to play Atlanta. I can't remember the scenario, but yeah,
I don't think y'all would have had the Lions. Y'all had the Packers, but you wouldn't have had the Lions.
I think it was either Atlanta or Green Bay going into that game.
Yeah.
Then the next year, Atlanta went on to the Super Bowl, I believe. I can't remember, but yeah.
But to answer your question, Aaron Rodgers needs to have worse stats than the Bears quarterback. That's when I'll bury him.
I'm just talking about this season. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is done forever. I don't think he's going to end his career as a Packer. But when can we bury Aaron Rodgers this season? Because the Cowboys are good this season, and every time we're good, we lose to Aaron Rodgers. When can we bury Aaron Rodgers this season?
When they're eliminated from the playoffs.
I need more hope than that.
That's what he's. You can't count the guy out till he's eliminated.
Okay.
That's what he's proven over his career.
Let's look at divisions. The West is getting 2 teams at least. Assuming, I mean, you got to assume the 49ers get in there, and Seattle's playing too good not to say they don't get 2 teams.
I don't know. Is the East going to get 3?
No, probably not. I think the Giants are bad.
You don't think they can win 4 more games the rest of the year?
That would put them at 10, wouldn't it? Yeah, maybe that's
I think
it.
the East is getting 3.
And so, do I think the Packers can win the division from Minnesota? Not really.
No, probably not. Minnesota, it would be a hell of a comeback.
South is only getting 1. So yeah, it's going to fall on Seattle and San Francisco.
Yeah.
To keep them out.
Or the Bears.
Or the
Got
Bears.
the same record as the Packers right now.
You got to beat them though. They own the tiebreaker.
Right now, we got another game. Don't worry, we got a game at Soldier Field for that.
Oh, Soldier Field. I mean, you want to play Justin Fields at Soldier Field late in the season when you just told me he can't play in bad weather?
I say you can't play in rain. Snow's not rain.
I guess not, technically. All right, let's get on to our last game, then get into college football. We have Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow slinging that rock all around the field. Him and Jamar Chase back at it again, looking like the duo that we saw last season. Offensive lines finally starting to gel together, just like Kyle Long said they would. Kyle Long at the beginning of the season when everybody was roasting that offensive line said give them to about week 6 or 7. That offensive line is going to be just fine. They're going to start getting things rolling. That's exactly what happened. As
you know who else said that?
As a bald guy, I think Kyle Long is very, very intelligent. So that prediction looks like it's coming true. And the Cleveland football...
You know another bald guy who said that?
Brian Baldinger.
This guy.
You listen to the Green Room podcast as well?
I did not. Maybe I saw it on Twitter or something, stole it from him, but I had the same thought that this is an all new O line and they're going to need some time to gel.
Kyle Long basically said it doesn't matter how many dudes you got on the offensive line. If they'd never played together, they need at least 5 weeks. Practice reps don't matter.
Yeah.
And when somebody
same logic.
When somebody like Kyle Long says that, I'm like, okay, I believe you. You're incredibly gifted. You're a very, very sexy man, and you know what you're talking about. So I believe you, Kyle Long.
Yeah, Kyle Long gets a lot more trust than I do when he says stuff. Very earned. He's earned more trust.
He's a freak of nature. He could have probably been an NBA player or an MLB player if he wanted to be. He's probably
could have been a cricket player if he wanted to be.
He is probably top 5 just freak athletes of the 20th century if you want to break it down.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
And the Bears made him retire early.
Yep. Asked him to play through so many injuries.
It's hard to say about one of my favorite players, but it's okay. We drink through it.
Yeah.
But going back to Cincinnati, another rabbit hole we go down. Cincinnati -3 versus the Cleveland Browns. What do you got in this game?
Cincinnati -3.
Yeah.
I mean, they have been chucking the football these last 2 weeks. They said that they opened the season saying we got to run the football. We got to try to be different than last year. In these last 2 weeks, they've said fuck it. We're not different than last year. We're just asking Joey B to toss it up to his boy Jamar down there and T and the slot receiver they got Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd's been going off like this.
Yeah,
I mean Cleveland's got some good secondary players.
Tyler Boyd's been there since the AJ Green years.
I know
this dude's been putting up nummies for a minute, and then they go get T Higgins, and you're like, okay, Tyler Boyd, T Higgins, like 1-2 combination, that's pretty good. Then they go get Jamar Chase, and then you're like, holy shit! Like if they can ever just like put it together, and when they do put it together, that's what got them to the Super Bowl last year. I mean, it was throwing the ball deep to Jamar Chase, T Higgins making clutch catches, then Tyler Boyd just being the most reliable slot receiver ever.
It's 3 guys who can beat man coverage all day.
3 guys, like Tyler Boyd could be a number 2 on just about any team. T Higgins could probably be a 1 on most teams. Then Jamar Chase
T Higgins might be a 1 on the Bears in the near future.
Wouldn't count on it. You're also trusting the Bears front office to make the right decision there. But then on top of that,
a very valid point.
You have Jamar Chase, who's just a top 5 receiver in the league. So,
yeah,
with a top 10 tight end, which if you don't have Travis Kelce, a top 10 tight end's just as good as a top 5 tight end, basically.
Yeah,
it's Kelce,
Andrews, and everybody else.
It's Kelce, drop off, Andrews, drop off, everybody else.
Yeah,
it's like Kelce, Andrews, 3 through 17.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, not bad.
Yeah, and I just don't trust Cleveland's offense right now. Like maybe they bounce back with their run game, but like I'm not sure Brissett's going to be able to do a whole lot.
Kareem Hunt should be on the move soon. Why they still haven't traded Kareem Hunt when they have no picks because they gave them all up for a rapist. The fact that they haven't traded Kareem Hunt is shocking. Like, yeah, he comes in for Nick Chubb every now and then, but your offense gets worse when he comes in for Nick Chubb. Like, you'd be better off putting any other running back in there that doesn't cost as much as Kareem Hunt and that can't garner as much trade value as Kareem Hunt. Like, it's not like Kareem Hunt comes in there and puts up similar numbers to Chubb. He just doesn't. So he has high trade value with low production.
Is pretty damn good too.
Exactly. And it's like, what? Like, why are they so reluctant to trade this guy when your offense doesn't get better with him? You have guys that can put up similar production, and you have probably the best running back in the league right now, Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
And they won't trade him. And they have no picks. Like, you need everything you can get right now to maybe help out a Deshaun Watson-led football team in the next 2 to 3 years, because your window is slamming shut because you're not making the playoffs this year. And then Nick Chubb, I mean, is he in the final year of his rookie deal right now? Because he wasn't a first-round pick. Or did he get paid?
He got extended early.
Okay. Good for them, because with the way running backs are, it's like you have to pay an astronomical amount to keep a running back, but I guess they paid him early, and that's good for them because I don't remember that.
I'm not
so
sure
it can't be 2 months
how
of a
much
deal.
longer it runs. Yeah, he got a 3 or $36 million deal, but it runs through 2024, so they got 2 more years of him.
What? That's like the steal of all steals.
Yeah, they paid him early.
How early did they pay him?
Let's see.
Doesn't seem possible. He's been good since his rookie year.
When did he sign?
I thought you had to wait a certain amount of time before you could re-sign a rookie contract. Or
You
extend a
do.
rookie contract.
They paid him in 2021. So that was his third
Last year?
Mhm.
3 years, 36. Oh. Man.
year.
Fully guaranteed?
No, it's a running back. They can get out of it next year.
Fuck. How?
20 million guaranteed.
How?
Or I'm sorry, not
That's
next year.
shocking.
After 2023, they can get out. So
That's shocking. If I was a running back as good as him, I would say like 50 million guaranteed, or I don't touch the field again. Because that's the
when
only
he
that's the
signed
one
it,
and only time you're getting paid.
when he signed it, he couldn't play passing downs very much. That really
It don't
limits your
matter.
value as a running back.
I'd say let me hit the open market then. I won't play for 2 years. I'll just sit here.
I mean, I agree with you, but
I mean, I guess Le'Veon Bell did that, and that worked out great for him. So
yeah, yeah.
he only lost like $17 million doing that. So
But he made it
And then-
back in fun with jet skis. So
and then the Chiefs signed him, and everybody is freaking out. Like, how are you going to let the Chiefs go sign Le'Veon Bell? And he goes and does nothing. But let's move on to a little bit of college talk. We're already running a little long. We've been just going down rabbit holes today, and might have a couple more rabbit holes here. So, all of our Philly fans out there, I will be inside the state of Philadelphia, inside the state of Pennsylvania this weekend. And I know Pennsylvania loves their football. I don't know how many of you are Happy Valley Penn State fans, but by golly, the Ohio State University only being a 15.5-point favorite this weekend is absolute highway robbery. This Ohio State team hasn't really played anybody, but they have been beating people like they're not playing anybody either. So whenever you beat teams like you should, you're probably a good team. I think Penn State's very overrated. I said at the beginning of the year that I thought they could possibly have 4 losses coming into this game, and they've just happened to run into a lot of teams that weren't good, besides Michigan, who beat the shit out of them. So give me the Ohio State University, the Buckeyes coming into Happy Valley, coming into Penn State, and just beating the shit out of them in their whiteout. A 10 o'clock kickoff time for the East Coast lads over there across the pond up in the Great White North. I love Ohio State here. 15.5. Beat the brakes off of Penn State and any hopes that they have of trying to salvage a season after losing to Michigan. Moving on to the next one, we go down to the SEC, going back across the pond, across the Mason-Dixon line, going down south. Kentucky versus Tennessee. Kentucky's not good. Tennessee probably has the second best offense in the country next to Ohio State. Tennessee's defense isn't good, but I don't know anybody that can stop this Tennessee offense besides maybe like I don't know who can stop this Tennessee offense, honestly. Hendon Hooker looks absolutely incredible. Jalen Hyatt looks like the best receiver we've seen in the NCAA since Jamar Chase, and that's including Marvin Harrison Jr., who's lighting it up for Ohio State right now. Jackson Smith and Jigba from last year, who hasn't even played this year for Ohio State, who's been hurt all year. Who was the kid who last year played at Pitt? That's at USC now.
Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison. I mean, all those guys, and Jalen Hyatt is just putting up insane stat lines. 5 catches, 4 touchdowns, and 216 yards against Alabama a couple of weeks ago. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Jalen Hyatt? Like, this Tennessee Volunteers team is for real, and I just don't think Kentucky can keep up with them. Give me Tennessee minus 12.5 in that game. Next up, we have Baylor versus Texas Tech University. So I kind of had a hard time playing this game because I think Baron Morton's really, really good for Texas Tech, and I think Texas Tech can put up points. Joe McGuire going against his former team, the team that broke him out into college football, and the Baylor Bears. But I see a defensive slugfest here. I think this game ends 23-17, and we get that under easily. Next up, K-State again. I don't even know how many times I've gotten on K-State on this podcast. I've taken them multiple times without giving them out. I know that I've lost on. But last week, if they don't lose Adrian Martinez, they beat TCU. I think TCU is a good team. They're not a great team. They keep skating by week after week, somehow keep winning. Back-to-back double-digit deficits that they came back against, like Oklahoma State loses Spencer Sanders, K-State loses Adrian Martinez, Kansas loses Jalen Daniels. Like every single week, TCU has they're down double digits, and then the starting quarterback goes out, then they come back and to win the game. I think K-State's a very, very good team. I still think K-State might be the best team in the Big 12. It's basically down to K-State, OK State, and TCU, or the last three might be the best teams in the Big 12. But I'm taking K-State here minus 1.5 versus Oklahoma State.
So my first one here.
I just saw. Hold on. You're taking Penn State?
Yeah.
Against my national championship Ohio Buckeyes, the number one pick, CJ Stroud.
I'm taking a backdoor cover, baby.
Ain't no
That's where it's going to
cover.
happen. Basically, I honestly was not all in on that one, but last week my math went 6-1. So I'm just going to keep riding with it.
Math is wrong.
I mean, math
is theory. You can't prove that math is right.
You're actually right. I think about that sometimes. I have nightmares about it, actually.
I bet you do.
But yeah, I'm on Penn State plus 15.5. And part of it, part of the reason why I went with the math on it was just thinking like, it's a home game for Penn State and weird shit happens there.
Let's make a side bet here. If Penn State covers, I'll shave my head. If the Ohio State University Buckeyes cover, you have to shave your head. We'll do a bald off.
Okay. I can do that.
All right.
I haven't shaved it in too long, so.
Next week, one of us will be bald.
I like that. Also on my card, I got SMU minus 2.5 going up against Tulsa. This is a straight math play. SMU's look good. Tulsa is, I think, 1-5 against the spread this year. Oklahoma State plus 1.5. Jay's on the K-State side. I just think Oklahoma State as a dog is a good bet right now. Against just about anybody.
I like K-State better than Oklahoma State, but I think I think a 1.5 point line is perfect for this game. And if you like K-State, bet them. If you like OK State, bet them. I like both teams. I think they're both good. It's a toss up.
Yeah. And then last one here, I got under 61.5 in Arkansas going to Auburn. I just don't think Auburn's very good on offense, but I think they're a feisty defense, and it's going to keep it a lower scoring game.
They still haven't fired their head coach, which is weird. Like, they've been trying to fire him for 8 months now. They've been trying to fire him since mid-March, and somehow he's still the head coach there. Yeah. So I don't know what they're doing. Another one I didn't add, but I might add is A&M money line versus Ole Miss. I don't think Ole Miss is good. Don't think A&M's good. Talk about A&M. Oof. Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah.
$96 million guaranteed. And he might not make a bowl game this year. after getting the number one recruiting class in the nation, after talking shit to Nick Saban, after the university giving you a TBD ring, national championship ring, with
it was all over.
A TBD date, like, you're bad. Like, it's a bad program. They've been bad. I mean, I don't want to say historically because I don't know how far back they're bad. They've never been good in my lifetime. They had they popped up with Johnny Manziel his freshman year. They weren't good. Everybody talks about the Johnny Manziel years of A&M. They weren't good his second year at A&M. His second year starting. I mean, I think they went 7-5. Like, good. I mean, mediocre, but like,
they were fun.
Year after year,
fun and good aren't the same thing.
Year after year, A&M pops up and like top 10 this year, number one recruiting class. They might not make a bowl game. Like, and Jimbo Fisher's this is Jimbo year 5 now. Is it year 5?
I think so. That sounds right.
And they might not make a bowl game. But I think they beat Ole Miss this weekend. I think they make a bowl game. But I just had to give A&M a little shit because ever since they've gone to the SEC, they've acted like they're so superior to everybody in the Big 12. And I was like, you're the same dog shit program you were in the Big 12. The same team that talks so much shit about being in the SEC never won the Big 12, and now all of a sudden they just think they're so much better team. They're not. They're just a mediocre. Any mediocre team in the Big 12 can be a mediocre team in the SEC because it's top heavy. So I mean, yeah, you're going to lose to Bama, you're going to lose to Florida when Florida's good, LSU when LSU is good. And then you're going to beat those teams when they're bad, but Arkansas is never good. Ole Miss, Mississippi State. I mean, you could be a middle of the pack program in the Big 12 and go be a middle of the pack program in the SEC. It's the exact same thing. And A&M is proving that wholeheartedly. I mean, we have like a 20-year sample size now, and A&M is the exact same team in the SEC as they were in the Big 12. So
congratulations.
Congratulations, A&M, for being the most consistent team over the past 3 decades.
That's a way to put it. And make sure you go follow our Twitter, because I will have 2 or 3 more college plays just based on where the cash settles at on Saturday morning.
Absolutely. And remember to like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what your lock of the week is this week, what you like, what you don't like. But remember, don't sleep on the Lions. Number 1 rule of gambling, don't sleep on the Lions. Number 2 rule of gambling, don't bet against Patrick Mahomes. Number 3 rule of gambling, CJ Stroud's the best quarterback in college football, number 1 overall pick, Heisman winner. And that's it.
Boom. Adios.